everybody and welcome, my name is Ursa Ryan, and today I'm going to guide you through one of the 4 legacy path or victory conditions in Civilization 7. There are 4 to choose from, and today we're talking about domination, or the military path. Possibly one of the hardest to execute. Learning what you can and can't do in every age will help you to achieve everything you want to do, be it on single player, multiplayer, or on any difficulty type. So join me as I take you through every single age, as we look at the legacy path and what you need to do. Let's go. We start in the Age of Antiquity, a simple time with arrows and swords, and most importantly, a military legacy path. First thing that you want to do is go over to the top left-hand corner of the screen and click on the Age Progress Trophy. Here you will see all 4 legacy paths. We're talking specifically about the military tree today, Pax Imperatoria. The first thing you want to do is click this button, Track Progress. This will put a very handy little reminder on your front screen of the quest system that will push you through the game and will guide the sorts of things that you need to do. You can also look at these little circles. These will tell you all of the quests that the game pushes you towards in case you want to embark upon this legacy path yourself. I would recommend reading them. Firstly, it recommends studying the Discipline Civic. This is quite simple. The Discipline Civic unlocks the Commander. In this game it's called the Legatus because we're Rome, but the Commander is capable of assembling armies of troops. Stacked upon it, it also receives XP from battles being fought around it. The game then teaches you how to pack 4 military units into a commander. You'll see if I click on it, it has 4 spaces for troops. Simply take 4 troops with movement and press the Gather Adjacent Land Units button. Here is an example. I have my commander and I've stacked 4 units into it. Now when I move across the map, you can see everybody moving in formation. It looks very cool, but it's an important part of being good at military in this game. Next, it asks you to produce at least 1 siege unit and then attack and capture another civilization settlement. Let's break that into 2 stages. Firstly, the tech tree is where a lot of the military units live. You can see animal husbandry unlocks the slinger, bronze working unlocks the spearman, archer, and swordsman, in this case the legion, and the wheel unlocks the first siege unit. This is a ballista, as well as the chariot. There are also naval units you can unlock, and once you get to ironworking, the tier 3 upgrades to all of the previously mentioned units. It's also worth bearing in mind that the mastery of techs can often be useful as well, such as the bronze working mastery gives 3 combat strength for all infantry units. Wheels mastery increases the movement of siege units, and military training's mastery increases the combat strength for ranged and siege units. All you need to do is unlock the wheel and build a ballista. We then need to talk about capturing an enemy settlement, because the entire point of Pax Imperatoria is to have 12 towns or cities in your empire. Conquered settlements count as 2. That makes conquered settlements much more important. 12 is a difficult number to get to. Any settlement counts. It doesn't matter if it's a city, which you can tell because the leader's name is on it, or specifically their face, or towns, the smaller ones. Both of these count for equal points. Currently, I have 3 settlements, which means I have 3 points. If I was to settle a 4th settlement, I would have 4 points. If I was to conquer a settlement, I would have 6 because it would be worth 2. Because of that, conquering settlements is so much more important than producing them yourself. It's also worth bearing in mind that settlement limit plays a big part of this. At the beginning of an age, you start with 3 settlement limit. If you settle over this limit, all of your settlements take a big happiness penalty and it hurts a lot. You don't want to push over this limit unless you have the happiness to survive it, or it's right at the end of the age. Certain techs and civics will increase this limit. Irrigation, for instance, has +1. That takes you to 4 cities. And then in the civics tree, entertainment has +1 and organized military has +1. Obtaining all of these will give you a settlement limit of 6. Even if every single one of your settlements was conquered, you would only just hit 12 points. So the settlement limit is pretty restrictive. You can find more settlement limit in some Civs unique civics. Rome, for instance, has one in Legatus Pro Platore, that gives you +1, and Senatus Populus qui Romanus, that's another +1 to take you to 8. Some leaders can give you settlement limit, and if you go into the attributes tree, you'll notice in the expansionist tree, +1 settlement limit can be found right at the bottom. The same for the military tree 3 down. Just note that you have to be very careful. If you want all 12 points and you don't want to go too far above your cap, you have to settle very few settlements yourself and concentrate on conquering other peoples. This is a different save file. In this one, I have 6 settlements, but one of them, shown by the little chain, is a conquered settlement. Because of that, I have 7 points. I still need 5 more, and I'm already at my settlement limit. Luckily for me, I'm making my way down the military tree, so only 1 more policy, and I can click the extra extra limit. As you go through the quests, it asks you to earn 6 points, and then 9, and then 12. As you get closer to the end of the age, and you get closer to completing your goal, you can afford to go above your settlement limit. You don't want to be over it for very long, but when you enter the exploration age, the limit increases drastically. So normally, your early expansionism will be forgiven. It's also worth bearing in mind that fully formed city-states, the ones with the white banners as opposed to the villages which have the black banners, these also count. You can declare war on these and conquer them as if they were settlements belonging to full civs. This is a good way of conquering if you don't want to go to the trouble of going to war with an actual civ. This is another save file. Again, I only have 6 settlements and I'm 1 over my cap, but 1, 2, 3 are conquered. This one was given as a peace deal. I didn't even have to take it myself. I simply warred well enough and was given it in order to get peace. Because of that, I'm already at 9 points. That is a very efficient haul, and as the age gets closer, I could afford to go to war and conquer a couple of these independent city-states that are very attackable, or I could go down and take on Mr. Franklin. And this is my final example. We have 7 settlements, 1 over my limit, but I have 9 points because 2 of them are conquered. You can see it is very tricky to get to 12 in Antiquity. Focus on large wars at the end of the age and try to settle as few settlements yourself as you can. In this instance, I've settled quite a few, 5 to be precise. If I'd only settled 2 and conquered these, I would have all the points that I need. Focus on powerful upgraded troops, good siege equipment, a navy if you need one, and a highly promoted army commander, using very good commendations like order, giving +5 combat strength, and advancement, which gives +5 strength when at full health when attacking. These are very stackable bonuses that help a lot. We now go from Antiquity to Exploration. If you thought Antiquity was difficult, Exploration is incredibly easy. You just have to know what to do. Again, go to the Military Legacy path and click the Track Progress button. It will help a huge amount. The goal is very similar, earn 12 points. However, the scoring is slightly different. You only gain a point from a settlement in the distant lands. If I go to the continent lens, you will see that my continent is this orange one. This is where I started. However, there is a lovely little purple arrow. This indicates that that is a distant land continent. The yellow one, the continent of Any settlement on this continent acts as 1 point, so I would need 12 of them. Difficult, you think? Well, not exactly. Instead of 1 point, you get 2 points if it's either conquered or it follows your religion, and it's quadrupled if both apply. Now, religion is incredibly easy. In order to get a religion, all you need to do is earn the first civic in the exploration age, which is called piety. Once you have piety, you pop down a temple. In this save file, you can see that I can click on the view religion button, and here's my religion, the little butterfly. I have 2 settlements on distant lands, this one and this one. This one follows my religion, this one does not. So I have 3 points, and there you go, there's the 3 points. The quest log does help you to do this. It tells you to research cartography and astronomy. These 2 techs can be found at the very early stages of the age. Astronomy gives you lots of science. Cartography lets your settlers and other civilian units enter deep ocean, helps you to get over to the new lands. Then it asks you to make a settlement. This acts as a bit of a forward base. Then to start accumulating points. Firstly 4, then 8, although it tells you at this point you should consider converting them to your religion, and then 12. Converting to religion is extremely easy. Simply take any settlement in the distant lands and either build or buy yourself a temple. I have one on this tile. Then you can spend gold to buy a missionary and then use it to convert the settlement and all of the others. It's really easy to get at least 2 points for every settlement, and all you need is 6 settlements on distant lands. Settlement limit is pretty available in the Age of Exploration, so you shouldn't have too much trouble finding it. In the tech tree, there is one in feudalism, and in the civic tree, you can find one in the mastery of society, one in the mastery of colonialism, one in social class, one in sovereignty, and one in imperialism. There's also extra, possibly in your unique civics for your civilization, depending on who you're playing. I have one, for instance, in monsoon winds. Later on in this game, you can see that my expansion has continued. I now have a lot of additional settlements, and because of that, I have a lot of points. More than 12, in fact. 2 points for this settlement, 2 from this one, that's 4, 2 from this, that's 6, 2 from these 2, which takes you to 7 and 8. They don't follow my religion, but as you can see, they will do very soon. And then I have 4 from this settlement, because this is conquered and converted. 9, 10, 11, 12. If you conquer settlements in distant lands and then convert them, they give you 4 points. You only need 3 of them to get the entire military military legacy path. It's incredibly easy to do. My advice is to focus a little bit on tech and make sure you unlock shipbuilding. This means that your naval units can move across open ocean without taking damage, and it unlocks the level 2 boats, the carracks, and if in this instance you have a unique boat, it'll unlock that. Combine that with your naval commander and you can very easily take large navies across the map, a little bit like this. Remember that cities can be incredibly difficult to take. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 walled tiles. It would be a nightmare to try and defeat. I would have to take every single one of those tiles. However, this settlement had a single tile. It was just an island, but it still counts for 4 points. These would have been good options as well, Kalantan and Tuban. Each one of these only has a single tile that would need to be conquered, and they would count for 4 points if I owned them. 1, 2, 3, only these 3 settlements would have given me all the points I needed. You may think that war is difficult after going through Antiquity. Trust me, there is no excuse to be not hitting the 12 points with a bit of practice in exploration. And finally, the modern age. In this age, the military legacy path opens up to something that can win you the game. Again, remember to click the track progress button and have a look at the quests. In order to get the ideology legacy path, we need to earn 20 points from conquering settlements for the first time. Remember, if you conquer a settlement a second time, you get no further points. If you conquer a settlement, you gain 1 point. Trust me, this will not win you the age. It takes far too long. You instead get 2 points if you have an ideology, or 3 points if your opponent has a different ideology. As long as you have an ideology, you need to take 10 settlements to get your 20 points. If you have different ideologies, then you only need to take 7. It sounds like a lot, and it is. However, the settlement limit in the modern age is very, very big compared to the previous ages. So what do we mean about ideology? Well, if we look at the modern civic tree, you will see that social question, modernization, and natural history all feed into political theory. Once you have unlocked political theory, you unlock the 3 ideology trees: democracy, fascism, and communism. Keep in mind that if you're going for a military victory, whilst all 3 offer you benefits, fascism is designed for war. This gives you a lot of 3 powerful units, gives production in gold to your specialists, increases production in gold around your empire, and finally unlocks some incredibly powerful cards, increasing production to all military units by 50% and increasing your combat strength when attacking by 5. You can see in this game, I picked communism. However, if I click on this little head with the question mark, I can see that nobody else has picked an ideology yet. Therefore, at this stage, if I walked south and conquered the settlement of Kopen, because I have an ideology and Charlemagne does not, I would receive 2 legacy points. You can see in this game, Amina has picked communism. I have picked fascism. That means if I were to conquer her settlements, I would receive 3 points rather than 2. That would help me to gain points a lot quicker. The quests simply get you to unlock your ideology as fast as possible, then to complete combustion. This unlocks some very powerful boats and the early tank. It then suggests that you unlock flight to unlock planes. Flights can be found here. Planes are incredibly powerful when it comes to domination and military. Going into war without them is incredibly silly. I would not advise you do it. And after that, it simply asks that you just earn your 20 points. Once you have all 20 points, you will unlock Operation Ivy. Operation Ivy is a victory condition that doesn't require any text to build. Once you've unlocked the Operation Ivy victory condition, simply click the Manhattan Project in your city, plonk it down on a tile, and build it. It effectively acts as a wonder, so you have to find a tile to put it on. Make sure you've got a lot of production to do this. Then you will have an additional project called Operation Ivy. Simply finish this project and you'll see this little wonderful victory screen showing you that you've won the game. It really is that simple. The hard bit is doing the conquering. The building the project is very relatively simple. I wanted to point a couple of things out that you might want to consider when going for your victories. Firstly, when you're selecting your leader, remember that not all leaders are the same. If a leader has militaristic in their attributes, they are normally pretty good at going for military victories. Amina, Ashoka world conqueror, Charlemagne, Frederick in both his personas, Napoleon as a revolutionary, Tecumseh and Shungshak, as well as Xerxes King of Kings, are all very well suited to military, either because of the additional combat strength or because they allow for more settlements. Certain mementos will help you as well. Taking military attribute points will never hurt your game, but other options include Corona Civica, which can give you +1 settlement limit per age. Collada and Tizona, which gives combat strength if your units are flanked. Kron von Frederick I, which gives 2 combat strength for all units when using coordinated attack or focus fire. Ancus, which gives you 1 war support on all wars. Anti-Machiavel, which is 2/3 war support on all wars declared against you. And various policies that give additional movement to units. Again, look for civilizations that have military in the attributes. Maria India has an incredibly powerful elephant unit. Persia has increased combat strength when attacking as well as a powerful unit. And Rome's legions can literally act as tanks. Mongolia is powerful in exploration, though has a weird set of rules that can give you additional points for conquering settlements in your own lands. Normans have increased combat strength with embarked units. Songhai has powerful units that can be used to invade and defend cities on navigable rivers and the coast. And Spain is incredibly effective at fighting in distant lands. And finally, France in the modern age has an incredibly powerful infantry unit as well as versatile celebrations. Meiji Japan has multiple benefits to production and combat. Prussia is built entirely to go to war with people, but to be honest, there are many choices. Give it some practice and remember, settling your own settlements is always worse than taking somebody else's. 9 times out of 10, it will give you more points. Keep practicing and you'll be a military master in no time. I've been Ursa Ryan, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye!